Okay, dear students, today we shall discuss the Bohr-Atomic model. So, Bohr-Atomic model is developed only after the limitations observed in the Rutherford's atomic model. So, in Rutherford's atomic model, we know that it could not explain the stability of the atom as the electron revolves around the nucleus and there is a chance for the electron to fall down into the nucleus and the atom will destroy. So, that concept was not explained by the Rutherford. So, in order to rectify that mistake, Bohr proposed the new theory which is called as Bohr's atomic model. So, let us see the important points of the Bohr's atomic model. So, in an atom, electrons means negatively charged particles revolve around the positively charged nucleus in a definite circular path called orbits or shells. See, this is an atom in which the center part of the atom is called as the nucleus, which is with the positive charge, and the electrons revolve around the nucleus in the definite circular paths. So, these circular paths are called as the either orbits or shells. And each orbit and shell, whatever these orbits are there, each orbit and shell has the fixed energy. So, energy of these orbits is quantized. Means as long as electron remains in these orbits, it will not lose energy, it will not gain energy, because it is a fixed energy. It is with the fixed energy as long as the electron remains in the orbit. That's why these are called the quantized orbits. So, when electron is moving away from one orbit to another orbit, so it is possible when electron absorbs the energy, then electron can go from the lower energy orbit to the higher energy orbit. So, just see here. Imagine there is an electron in this orbit. So, when electron in the second orbit, it has a fixed energy. When this electron wants to move to the higher energy state, then it has to absorb certain amount of energy. Then electron can go to any one of its higher energy state like this. So, second energy state to the third energy state, or a second energy state to the fourth energy state. And before that, I'll give one point. Whatever these orbits are there, these orbits are named with numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. These numbers are called the principal quantum numbers, which represents the number of orbit, or else these are also represented by the letters K, L, M, N shells. So, if n equals to 1 means first orbit or K shell, n equals to 2 means second orbit or L shell, n equals to 3 means third orbit or M shell, n equals to 4 means fourth orbit or N shell, and it continues. So, when now come to the point, as long as electron remains in a particular orbit, it will not lose energy, it will not gain energy. But when electron gains the energy, then it may go to any one of the higher energy states. And the distance travelled by the electron from a lower energy state to the higher energy state depends upon the amount of energy absorbed by the electron. And the difference in energy between any two orbits is always equals to h nu. So, if electron is absorbed only one h nu amount of the energy when it is in the second orbit, it may go to the third energy state. And the energy difference between the third energy state and fourth energy state is also again h nu. So, when the electron absorbs the 2 h nu amount of energy at a time, then it will go from the second energy state to the fourth energy state. So, means the distance travelled by the electron depends upon the quantity of energy absorbed by the electron. Now, imagine the electron went to the fourth orbit like this. Means here I am not writing the same electron. Imagine the electron travelled to the fourth orbit. Now, electron is in the fourth orbit. Now, there is a chance for this electron to come back to its original energy state. So, while coming back this electron to the original energy state, it may come directly to the second orbit, or it may come fourth orbit to the third orbit and third orbit to the second orbit. So if electron loses 2h nu amount of energy at a time, it will come back to the fourth energy state to the second energy state. Means it directly crosses the two orbits. If electron in the fourth orbit loses only 1 h nu amount of energy, then it will come back to the third energy state. Again, if it loses one more h nu amount of energy, it will come back to the second energy state. So the movement of electron basically from lower energy state to the higher energy state or higher energy state to the lower energy state depends upon the whether it is absorbing energy or whether it is releasing energy. Here it is releasing the energy while coming back. So when electron is absorbing the energy, it will go to the higher energy states, and when the electron is losing the energy, it will come back to the lower energy state. Now, each orbit has here orbits are there. If you see these orbits, first orbit has one particular radius, second orbit has another particular radius, third orbit has another particular radius, and fourth orbit has another particular radius. Now let's try to see the radius of the orbit, and before that the angular momentum of the electron mvr was given as nh upon 2 pi. Mass, velocity into radius when multiplied, it is called the angular momentum of the electron. So angular momentum of the electron is equals to nh upon 2 pi, where n equals to the orbit number. So for first orbit, n equals to 1. Then angular momentum of electron is equal to simply h upon 2 pi. And for second orbit, n equals to 2. So if you substitute 2 here, 2 get cancelled, it becomes h upon pi. And if third orbit is there, then it will be 3 by 2. So 3 by 2 means 1.5 h upon 2 pi. So like this, the angular momentum changes based upon the number of the orbit. Now let us see the radius of the Bohr's orbit. Radius of the Bohr's orbit. So the radius of the Bohr's orbit was given by the Bohr as, for nth orbit, Rn is equals to n square h square upon 4 pi square me square z into k, where n equals to principal quantum number, means orbit number. This is principal quantum number, where h equals to Planck's constant, whose value is 6.626 into 10 power minus 34 joule second, whereas 4 is the constant value. Pi is also constant value, whose value is 22 by 7. M is the mass of the electron, which is 9.108 into 10 power minus 31 kg. E is the charge of the electron, that is 1 point minus has no significance while solving the problems. So 1.6022 into 10 power minus 19 coulombs, whereas Z equals to atomic number. And K value is always constant, that is the permittivity of the medium. So 9 into 10 power 9 Newton meter square per coulomb square. So by substituting among all these h, pi, m, e, k are constants, only the non-constant values are n value and z value. So apart from both of these, if you substitute all these values in this equation, we get the value as Rn is equals to, means radius of the nth orbit is equals to 0.529 into n square by z angstroms. This is the value. So now here this 0.529 is the constant value, means radius of the nth orbit is directly proportional to the n square by Z, where n is the orbit number, Z is the atomic number. So when the atom changes and orbit changes, radius of the orbit also changes. So let us imagine there are two different atoms, and moreover Bohr's atomic model is applicable only to the single electronic species, means hydrogen and hydrogen like atoms, means hydrogen is having only one electron. If you take the He, helium is having the 2 electrons. So here we cannot apply the Bohr's atomic model, but we can apply to the He plus, because it is having only single electron, like that Li plus 2, where only one electron is there. So for only those we can apply the Bohr's atomic model. Now radius of the nth orbit is directly proportional n square by Z. Now let us take, there are two atoms, different atoms are there with a single electron. So for first atom, radius is R1, first orbit is directly proportional to the I'll take the radius of the first atom. This is the nth orbit we mentioned, no, radius of the first atom I am considering here. So 0.529 into n1 square by z1. This is the orbit of that particular atom. This is the atomic number. Similarly, for second atom, I am taking the radius as R2, 0.529 into its orbit value n2 square divided by z2. These are all angstroms, in angstroms. Now let's take the ratio of these two. So when you take the ratio R1 by R2, this is equals to, we just substitute these values, 0.529 into n1 square by z1 whole divided by 0.529 into n2 square by z2. Angstroms cancel out. Here 0.529 also get cancelled. So from this we can get R1 by R2 is equals to n1 square by z1 into z2 by n2 square, or else simply we can write as a R1 by R2 equals to n1 square by n2 square into z2 by z1. See, if anyone asks you the question, I'll write one particular simple question here. Find the radius ratio of hydrogen atom where n equals to 1 and helium plus He plus ion n equals to 2. So they are asking the get the radius ratio of the first orbit of hydrogen atom and second orbit of the helium atom, helium ion, He plus n. So it is very simple to calculate here. We know that radius of the hydrogen divided by radius of the He plus is equals to, this is the orbit number value of the hydrogen atom, that is 1 square, divided by, this is the helium where n2 value n equals to 2, so that it is 2 square into Z2, atomic number of the helium is 2 and Z1 is the atomic number of the hydrogen, that is 1. So here we get the 1 by 4 into 2 by 1, so it goes almost 2 times. So radius of the hydrogen divided by radius of He plus is equals to 1 upon 2, that means 1 is to 2. So in this way we can solve the problems if you know the relation. So there are two things we must know. One is the basic formula, this is the basic formula, this is the basic formula, and second one is the relation, like this, so that you can compare the radius of the orbit of one atom with the radius of the orbit of the another atom. Now, for hydrogen atom, we know that Z value is equals to 1 and orbit it is having only one orbit. So that if N value and Z value are substituted, then radius is equals to 0.529 into N square by Z, no? So N value, Z value both are only 1. So that we can write radius of the orbit is equals to 0.529 angstroms. So this value is called the radius of the Bohr's orbit. Radius of Bohr's orbit. Bohr's orbit in the sense the first orbit of the hydrogen atom is called the Bohr's orbit. Now let's try to get the comparisons of the radius. So we know that radius is directly proportional to the N square by Z. Imagine for a particular atom, Z is constant. For example, if I am comparing the radius of the hydrogens, only hydrogen atom I am taking, and that hydrogen atom I am comparing the radius of the first, second, third, fourth orbits, all this. This is the hydrogen atom. Now I would like to know the ratio of the first orbit, second orbit, third orbit, fourth orbit radius. So in such case, Z remains constant. So that Rn is directly proportional to the N square. So now you just see radius of the first orbit is 2, radius of the second orbit is 2, radius of the third orbit is 2, radius of the fourth orbit is equals to, it is directly proportional to N square. So first orbit means 1 square. So 1 square means 1. Second orbit N value equals 2. So 2 square means 4 it is. And here it is 3 square means 9. And here it is 4 square means 16, and it continues so on. So what information are we getting from this? It is simple thing that, so second orbit radius is 4 times the radius of the first orbit, and the third orbit radius is 9 times to the radius of the first orbit, and the fourth orbit radius is 16 times more than the radius of the first orbit. So in this way we can easily compare the radius of the different orbits. Now, as we discussed in the starting here, I said energy levels, whatever the energy levels of a electron is there, all the energy of electron remains constant as long as the electron remains in the orbit. It will not change. So let us try to see what is the value of energy of a particular electron in a given orbit and in a given atom. So now let us calculate the energy of the electron. So energy of the electron. So energy of the electron was given by the Bohr as energy of the electron in nth orbit En equals to minus 2.18 into 10 power minus 18 into Z by N square joules per atom. Actually, this was derived from the formula En is equals to minus 2 pi square me power 4 Z divided by N square and H square, where 2 is constant, pi value is constant, mass of the electron is constant, charge on the electron is constant, Planck's constant. So by substituting all these values, we get this much amount of the value, that is 2.18 into 10 power minus 18 joules per single atom. So we will discuss the importance of this minus symbol. This minus symbol do not have any importance while solving the problems. You must remember that. The importance is only it gives some information about the interaction, affinity between the electron and the nucleus, that we shall discuss in the coming discussion. And let us see the another point here. Let us take the energy of the first orbit as E1 and energy of the second orbit as E2. And the difference in energy can be calculated as delta E is equals to E2 minus E1. The difference in energy between any two orbits is always equals to h nu, that was discussed. So we can say that delta E is equals to h nu. If you want to calculate the new value frequency, then nu equals to difference in energy divided by the Planck's constant. Here also we can get the frequency. Now let us take this particular value. We know that En is equals to minus 2.18 into 10 power minus 18 into Z by n square joules per atom. And we also know that 1 joule is equals to 1 electron volt, 1 electron volt is equals to 1.6022 into 10 power minus 19 joules. So if you divide this value, because these many joules equals to 1 electron volts, then these many joules equals to how many electron volts? So if you do the cross multiplication, we get the energy of the electron in electron volt also. That value is equals to minus 13.6 into Z by n square electron volt per atom. So here the energy of the electron we are getting in the electron volt per atoms. Now let us see some other information regarding the energy of electron. These are all some comparisons. Every formula is to be remembered to solve the problems. As I said here, energy of the electron, difference in energy between the two orbits, delta E equals to E2 minus E1. But we must know what is the E2 value, what is the E1 value. Then only directly delta E can be calculated. If we don't know, then how to solve? Then let us see here. Let us take E1 is equals to minus 13.6 into Z by n1 square, first orbit, or some orbit, n1 square, electron volts per atom, and energy of the second orbit is minus 13.6 into Z by n2 square electron volt per atom. Then when you are doing the delta E is equals to E2 minus E1, then substitute these values. E2 value is minus 13.6 into Z by n2 square electron volt per atom minus of minus this value 13.6 into Z by n1 square electron volt per atom. So from this we can get the minus 13.6 into Z electron volt per atom as the common. So here minus into minus becomes plus. So we shall take initially that. So delta E is equals to minus 13.6 into Z by n2 square plus 13.6 into Z by n1 square electron volt per atom. So the common values are minus 13.6 into Z electron volt per atom. So that way we shall take, then it becomes delta E is equals to, I am writing this 1 upon n1 square starting. So we get the, I am taking only 13.6 into Z electron volt per atom. So we can write 13.6 into Z electron volt per atom of 1 upon n1 square minus 1 upon n2 square. So this is the energy difference between the two orbits. You can put any orbits here. It is not necessarily be the first orbit. It may be second orbit, third orbit, fourth orbit. See, if you want to calculate, I'll take this is the important equation. So here you'll get the answer in the electron volt per atom. Say, if you want to calculate the difference in energy between the second orbit and fourth orbit in a particular atom, like hydrogen atom. So for hydrogen atom, Z equals to 1, so this value becomes only 1, and N1 value becomes the lower value, that is 2, N2 value becomes the higher value, that is 4. And if you want to calculate the third orbit and fifth orbit in He plus ion, then Z becomes 2 here. Then N1 value becomes 3 square and N2 value becomes 5 square. So in this way, you can easily calculate the difference in energy between the any two orbits in the electron volts by using this formula. And if you want to calculate the if you do not want to calculate the energy in electron volt per atom, but if you want to calculate the difference in energy joules, then it is equals to simply 2.18 into 10 power minus 18 into 1 upon N1 square minus 1 upon N2 square into Z joules per atom. So whatever we are calculating, this is only per atom, not per mole. So in this way we can easily calculate. Now let's come to the third application regarding the energy part, where let us do the comparison here. We know that energy, these are all constant values. So energy is actually is equals to minus 13.6 into Z by N square electron volt per atom is there. So in this is the constant value. So energy is directly proportional to the Z and inversely proportional to the N square. So in such cases, for a particular atom, energy E1 is equals to minus 13.6 into its atomic number divided by N1 square electron volt per atom. Similarly, for second atom energy, that is E2 equals to minus 13.6 into Z2 square divided by N2 square electron volt per atom. Then E1 by E2 is equals to Z1 by Z2 into N2 square by N1 square. Means whenever you want the only energy ratios here, not the difference. Energy ratio of the you want the energy, there is a N equals to second orbit hydrogen. So hydrogen atom second orbit energy and third orbit He plus ion orbit energy. If these ratios you want, then for the first one Z equals to 1 hydrogen, and this is Z2 means helium, Z value equals to 2, and this is N2 square, that is 3 square, and here it is N1 square, that is 2 square. So by substituting these values, you will get the ratio between the energies of one atom with the another atom. So these formulas are a bit important while solving the problems in the examinations, which gives you upper hand, and why? Because you get the very less time to solve these questions. Similarly, as I discussed just now, energy of nth orbit is directly proportional to the simply Z by N square. Now, if you take here, for a particular atom, Z is equals to constant. For example, if you are discussing about only hydrogen, so hydrogen always 1, or else He plus, it is equals to 2. So for a particular atom, Z equals to constant, then En is inversely proportional to the N square. Now let us take the energy difference. E1 is 2, E2 is 2, E3 is 2, E4 of different energy, different orbits energy in a single atom. Then N value equals to 1 here, 1 by 1 square equals to 1, that is to 1 by 2 square equals to 4, 1/4, that is to 1 by 3 square equals to 9, 1 by 9, that is to 1 by 4 square, that means 1 by 16. So from this, we can understand one important thing. The energy of the second orbit is 1/4 of the energy of the first orbit. But energy of the third orbit, electron, is 1/9 of the first orbit. And energy of the fourth orbit is 1 upon 16th time of the energy of the first orbit electron. So we generally imagine that the energy of the first orbit is more than the second orbit and third orbit and fourth orbit. It is wrong. Why? Because here there is a formula. If you see the formula, En equals to minus 2.18 into 10 power minus 18 into Z by n square joules per atom is given. This is the formula. So now time has come to discuss what is the use of this minus symbol. This minus symbol says only about attraction. Attraction between the nucleus and electron. So when you go away from the orbit, see, these are the orbits like this. When the electron is going away from the nucleus, the attraction between the nucleus and the electron gradually decreases. So gradually decrease means this minus value gradually decreases. When the minus value gradually decreases, automatically positive value gradually increases. So when the positive value gradually increases, automatically energy of the electron increases. So energy of the electron increases when it is going away from the nucleus. So whenever electron is going away from the nucleus, the principal quantum number increases, radius of the orbit increases, and energy of the electron also increases. So here by seeing this one, we used to get the doubt, then why we are getting 1/4, 1/9 and 1/16? Means the minus values becomes 1/4 and 1/9 and 1/16. Means the positive value becomes 4 times, here 9 times, here 16 times. So energy of the electron gradually increases. And we must remember one thing, that energy of the electron means if the electron goes far away from the nucleus, then that particular orbit is called the infinite orbit. At infinite orbit, 1 upon infinite square, so obviously we will get the energy of the electron at infinite orbit is equals to 0. This is the important one. So the energy of the electron completely come to the positive side. Now let us see another basic informations about this one, which are useful in the application methodology. So the other information about the energy of the electron is, we all know that to calculate total energy of the electron is equals to always kinetic energy plus potential energy. These are shortcuts which are very helpful in solving the problems. And we all know that potential energy is equals to minus ZE square by R, whereas kinetic energy is equals to plus ZE square by 2R. Now if you want to calculate the total energy is equals to kinetic energy is ZE square by 2R, and this is minus ZE square by R. This actually can also be written as, just observe because you should not get confused, this can be written as 1 upon 2 into ZE square by R minus ZE square by R. It is just looking like total energy equals to, imagine this value is equals to 1, this value is equals to 1. So 1 into half, you will get the half. Half minus 1. What must be the answer? That equals to minus half, right? Similarly, here also we get the value, because from half we are subtracting the full value. So total energy of the electron is equals to minus 1 by 2 ZE square by R. This is the total energy of the electron, where Z is the atomic number and E is the charge on the electron, where the R equals to radius of the electron, where actually it is present. Now from this we can conclude two things. So here we can write total energy of the electron is equals to minus 1 by 2 is there, no? And what is ZE square by R? ZE square by R here. Just see, minus ZE square by R means potential energy. So you consider this minus along with this ZE square by R. So this whole value is equals to potential energy. So in the place of this value, if you write potential energy, then we get the total energy is equals to potential energy by 2. Simple thing. So they may give the potential energy and they will ask you to calculate the total energy. Then in such cases, no need to do, simply do half, you make the half of the potential energy, you will get the total energy. Similarly here, Z is square by R is there. Z is square by 2R, you consider this one. Complete Z is square by 2R, if you take Z is square by 2R equals to kinetic energy. So total energy is equals to minus kinetic energy. Then what is the relation between the kinetic energy and potential energy? So ET left hand side terms are equal, so that you can equate the right hand side terms. Then potential energy by 2 is equals to minus kinetic energy, or else simply you can write kinetic energy equals to minus potential energy by 2. So by knowing these three formulae, then you shall be very able to solve the problems. And I request you all, once again you watch this video to note down all these formulae which are very helpful to you. Now let us try to see calculation how to calculate the frequency. Calculation of frequency of radiation of transition. Means when electron is moving from one orbit to the another orbit like this, either from higher orbit to the lower orbit or lower orbit to the higher orbit. So we used to calculate only the energy difference, but we did not calculate the frequency. And we have already known that one formula I had already given you, that is delta E is equals to h nu. Then nu is equals to delta E by h, and delta E value I had already given you, so that frequency nu is equals to delta E value is 2.18 into 10 power minus 18 joules into 1 upon n1 square minus 1 upon n2 square into z divided by h value, Planck's constant value, 6.626 into 10 power minus 34 joule seconds. So joules get cancelled, and by doing so all this we get frequency, that is 3.29 into 10 power 15 into 1 upon n1 square minus 1 upon n2 square into z per seconds. Means you can calculate even frequency also. So what is the frequency of the radiation that is used in the transition of the electron between the any two orbits? Now let's try to see how to calculate the wave number. Calculation of wave number, that is nu bar, of electron during a transition. Then let us see how. We know that nu equals to C nu bar, this formula. So nu bar is equals to nu by C. So I'll take the nu value, this one. So nu bar is equals to, nu value is 3.29 into 10 power 15 into 1 upon n1 square minus 1 upon n2 square into z per seconds divided by c. C is the velocity of the light, whose value is 3 into 10 power 8 meters per second. So per second cancel out. By solving this one, we get the nu bar equals to 1.09677 into 10 power 7 into 1 upon n1 square minus 1 upon n2 square into z. This meters becomes per meter. So this is the wave number value that helps us to calculate when electron is doing the transition. And here this particular value is a constant value which is called as the RH value, that is called as the Rydberg constant. Rydberg constant whose value is 1.09677 into 10 power 7 per meter. Okay. Now, let's try to calculate the ionization energy. Calculation of ionization energy. So, what does it mean by the ionization energy? Ionization energy, the energy required to remove the electron from the last orbit. Imagine this is the last orbit. From this orbit, I would like to remove the electron by supplying some amount of energy, which is called as ionization energy. So, here this is the first orbit electron. First orbit is there. So, the energy difference between these two is usually called as the ionization energy. Means when you are able to provide this much amount of energy, then you are able to remove the electron from the orbit. Because electron, this nucleus attracts this electron and this electron also. And the nucleus attraction power we need to break from here to here. And this electron is almost too close to the nucleus. So that is the reason why the energy difference between these two usually is the ionization energy. So for ionization energy, E2 is the last orbit, that is always equals to infinity, because from the last orbit means it is infinite orbit. We don't know from which orbit it is being removed. And E1 is always equals to the first orbit. Then ionization energy can be calculated as IE equals to E2 minus E1. E2 means infinity value there. So E infinity minus E1. Infinity value how much? Infinity value E2 is equals to 0. E infinity value is equals to 0. This is. So this is 0 minus of first orbit energy, that is minus 13.6 into Z by n square electron volt per atom. Then how much value are you getting here? Ionization energy is equals to minus of minus means plus. So plus 13.6 into Z by n square electron volt per atom. This is the ionization energy. And what is this value? This value is equals to the energy of the nth orbit or not alpha. First orbit means n value equals to 1. If you take it as the nth orbit, then this value is equals to nth orbit. Nth orbit value we have already written. En equals to minus 13.6 into Z by n square electron volt per atom. This is the energy of the nth orbit electron. So from this one up to here, this value is equals to, we can write as a minus En equals to 13.6 into Z by n square electron volt per atom. So in this place we can write the minus En. So simply ionization energy, you no need to do separately anything here. Ionization energy is equals to the negative of the nth orbit. Whatever the orbit they are giving, just do the calculation. So if it is the first orbit, take the first orbit energy. If second orbit energy, how to consider. So this is about the energy of the electron. Now let us see the velocity of the electron. Velocity of electron in an nth orbit. So velocity of the electron in nth orbit was given by Bohr as Vn equals to 2 pi e square z divided by n h. Here 2 constant, pi constant, charge of electron constant, h constant, Planck's constant. Z and n are not constants. So Vn is equals to, by substituting so these values, we get the 2.18 into 10 power 6 into Z by n meters per second. And if you want to calculate the first orbit, electron velocity of the electron in the first orbit of hydrogen. So first orbit of hydrogen means Z value is equals to 1, n value is equals to 1. so that velocity of the electron in the first orbit of hydrogen value is equals to 2.18 into 10 power 6 simply meters per second. This is called as the Bohr's velocity. So the radius of the first orbit of hydrogen is called as the Bohr's orbit. Similarly, here it is called the Bohr's velocity. And the value of the Bohr's velocity is approximately is equals to Bohr's velocity is equals to 1 upon 138th time of the velocity of the light. So if you take the velocity of light, divide the velocity of the light with 138, then you will get the Bohr's velocity. Okay, and from this here in this formula, these are all constants, and V is directly proportional to the Z by N. So from this we can get some other information, related information. So that is V is directly proportional to the Z by N, and if for a particular element Z is remaining constant, so we get the V is inversely proportional to the N. It means that when the value of N increases, velocity of the electron decreases. We know that the orbits located like this. Electron is here, and another electron is here, and another electron is here. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when you compare the velocity of these electrons, the velocity of the first orbit electron is more than the last orbit electron. The reason is, electron is a negative charged particle, and here a nucleus is with the positive charge. So these are very close to each other. To overcome the nucleus attraction power, the first electron, the electron in the first orbit revolves with highest possible speed, so that it can easily escape the attraction power of the nucleus. And these electrons, as they are away from the nucleus, so they can go little less comparison to the first electron to escape the nucleus attraction power. That's why when the value of N increases, when the orbit number value increases, velocity of the electron decreases. They are inversely related. So now let us see another information, that is number of revolutions. Number of revolutions per second in nth orbit is equals to, how to calculate, means how many number of revolutions an electron is revolving around the nucleus in a second of the time, can be calculated by using the formula velocity of electron in nth orbit divided by circumference of the orbit. Circumference of the nth orbit, that particular orbit. So here velocity of the electron in nth orbit is, anyhow we have seen the formula just now. So from that we can calculate, and here it is velocity of the electron in nth orbit by circumference of the orbit. Formula is 2 pi r n. This is the radius of the nth orbit. So by using this formula we can easily calculate how many revolutions an electron is making around the nucleus in a second of time. Now let us see number of waves. Number of waves made by a Bohr electron in nth orbit. So how many number of waves it is making? Just now we have seen these only number of revolutions, but how many number of waves may be present in the nth orbit? That equals to circumference of the orbit of nth orbit divided by wavelength. So we know that, here I will write again number of waves, simply number of waves in a particular nth orbit by electron. Circumference of the orbit, we know that formula 2 pi r by wavelength lambda, and from this I am just making a small change, 2 pi r divided by lambda equals to h by mv from the de Broglie's equation. Okay, so this can be written as 2 pi mv I am bringing to the numerator, so 2 pi into mvr divided by here, sorry, I made h upon mv, lambda I have written, it is h upon mv. So here h remains, and mvr is the angular momentum of the electron that we have discussed during the starting part of this video. So we can write 2 pi by h into mvr equals to nh upon 2 pi. So nh upon 2 pi. Now 2 pi cancel out, this h value cancel out, and n. So number of waves in nth orbit, his value is equals to n. That means if electron is in the first orbit, it will have only one wave. If electron in the second orbit, number of the orbit is 2 means, then it will have the 2 waves. If it is in third orbit, then the number of waves is equals to 3 waves and so on. So it depends on the value of the orbit. And the last one is how to calculate the time period, means time required for the revolutions. Simply time period is equals to, can be calculated by using the formula 2 pi r by v. This is exactly opposite, this is the v value, 1 minute, 2 pi r by velocity of the electron in the nth orbit. This is r value. So this is exactly opposite to the number of revolutions per second in the nth orbit. Here velocity by the 2 pi r is there. In the time period, this is 2 pi r by v. This is r. Pi r by velocity of the electron, time period. So dear student, I hope you understand today's concept. Thank you.